Good evening, everyone. I'm Neha, Ambassador of Change for GETI, that is Global Education and Training Institute, founded and conceptualized by Dr. Sunita Gandhi with the vision of disrupting the education movement as we know it. We also organize pre service and in service training for teachers so that they can spearhead this disruptive education movement. We also organize, under the same umbrella, Deep Talks, where we invite policymakers, educators, bureaucrats, and researchers from around the world to discuss various best practices with us. And today, I'm very honored and thrilled to have with us Ms. Shireen Abbas, who is the science coordinator for Lamatnia Girls College, Lucknow, based in Uttar Pradesh. And ma'am will be condensing her experience on the topic, the pros and cons of online teaching. Thank you so much for joining us today, ma'am. A very warm welcome to you today.
Thank you, Neha. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Neha, once again for that warm welcome and lovely introduction. I'm here to share my views on the pros and cons of online teaching after doing this for over a year now. So, what led us into this? We all know is the pandemic. And under the banner of GETI, that is Disruptive Education, I have going to speak about pros and cons of this online teaching. For the couple of months when the pandemic struck us and schools closed, it left us to think, what's the way forward? None of us were ever trained for this. We were chalk and blackboard teachers. We faced the challenge and took it up in a positive way. Here, I would like to applaud the efforts of the entire teaching fraternity who did a commendable job of learning to teach through the e learning platforms, especially our senior teachers who are not tech savvy at all. They did a wonderful job. Our schools trained us through rigorous training sessions for this mode of teaching learning so that seamless lessons can be conducted. We were not adept at all, and we may still take some time, but this surely kept the school open. I would say the school kept open. The school kept open during the pandemic. School remained open, learning continued, and our girls excelled in the board exams despite the pandemic. They gave the competitive exams and learning went on. So, when we are talking about disruptive education, I would say this online teaching platform was a boon because it kept the continuity of the education. So, our girls excelled in the board exams despite the pandemic. This is the hallmark of an institution that exemplifies the ability to overcome challenges and to pivot quickly in a changing world. Isn't that what we need to teach and demonstrate to our students? And yes, online teaching is not simply a good idea, but it is mandatory in today's world. Because with the world becoming smaller, such waves of pandemics or wars or other setbacks are likely to happen more often than ever before. So I would say online teaching proved to be a boon in such a scenario where teaching, learning kept on. There were no learning gaps. Children were able to continue with education. Then I would like to say that in that scenario, when children were just told to sit down, sit in homes, they were not allowed to go, the only interaction during that isolation was through this online teaching mode. With zero in person social interaction, e learning became the primary and, in some cases, the only means of connecting with others beyond the nucleus families. Interaction with friends, classmates, favorite teachers, their mentors, and guides were paramount for the students to prevent the feeling of isolation and disconnectedness. Humans are social beings, and social interaction is vital for child development. So I feel that they were able to connect. There was some connectedness because of this online teaching. Had it not been there, there would have been no outlet for them. They got some. Otherwise, they were just locked up. Suddenly, they were shut. Everything, the world was shut for them. They were indoors. They were just locked up in the houses. So I feel that this had it not been online teaching, there would have not been any interaction. They would have not got any, way or outlet to, express themselves or to connect with people outside their nucleus family. Apart from that, I would say that online teaching is also economical, both for school and students. People will say how, and I would say maybe the initial investment of a good computer with ergonomic workstation may seem expensive, but when we look at the long-term savings, it is far more economical way of teaching. On one hand, operational cost for running an entire school with 50 to 60 classrooms is drastically reduced. The cost on the infrastructure, the upkeep of the school, all that is reduced. And on the other hand, students save on transportation, multiple sets of uniforms. I'm not saying they don't wear the uniform, they do wear the uniform in the online class, but obviously they don't need so many as when they are coming, regularly and they're getting dirty, it is not so many. And as we develop our methodologies, they will perhaps require fewer books. So the money spent on books or transportation or the uniforms was saved. So it is proving to be economical. Apart from saving money, I would say it also saved time. It gave them time for self study, which is very, very important. You may go to many coaching centers, you may go to many tuition teachers, but until and unless the child gets the time to self study, they will not be able to succeed. So that self-study time they got because they were saving time on commuting. They were not commuting. They were getting the best of the lectures, best of the lessons, sitting at home, and therefore I feel they got quality time to spend on self-study. Apart from that, it also gave time to teachers who also saved time while commuting, and therefore they were able to give quality lessons. They were able to put the energy into teaching learning, so the time was saved. And so that way, uh, online platform has been very good. There is an efficiency in online education, I would say. It allows limitless students in one session, which certainly has its challenges and drawbacks, and we will overcome as technology develops and we get better at using all the resources available to us. On the other hand, this ensures that students learn, hear, understand the content as conducted by the teacher in that one session. Teachers need to prepare that lesson just one time and teach it just once. We may not have to go to a repetitive class of 40 children, because this has the ability to scale up and to go to a larger audience. So we save time on that. Teachers are able to build better lessons, they get more time to plan. Recorded sessions, that is one of the greatest advantage of online teaching. Children get recorded lessons. If they missed a lesson, they can listen to a video, I mean recorded session. So there is no learning gap, they have not missed. They can get that at their own convenient time. They can go back and repeatedly hear that something that they could not understand in a class. They can go back and hear it again. So missing the class or not understanding a particular concept can be, overcome through recorded sessions, and that is possible only in online mode of teaching. Students will hopefully miss minimal classes because with online sessions, they can attend classes from anywhere, whether they are sitting by a hospital bed or attending an out of town wedding. So this gives them the flexibility. Even in other certain circumstances, they are still able to be a part of the class, be a part of the lesson. So attendance is like good, and absence from the class can be make up, and they do not miss much in the class because of whatever constraint or circumstances they are in. They can still be a part of that online class. Apart from that, online education can be far more interactive. If we see, We were using chalk and blackboard. Most of the schools, I'm not saying that some school didn't have smart classes, but yes, every school could not afford have multiple smart classes. And e-learning overcomes that challenge in an economical and an efficient way. From the blackboard, we jump to online education, completely skipping the smart classrooms, just like many in India went from no phone to cell phones. So I would say that online tier platform was very, very helpful because whatever we had in the smart classrooms was we were able to accommodate at a very low cost. There was no investment as the a smart requires the amount of money that goes into that. So we were giving all what we could give in a smart classroom through an online mode, videos, games, quizzes, anything we can, at the click of the mouse, we can bring it into an online class. As we learn to maximize the potential of online learning, teachers will be able to use a variety of teaching methodologies to cater to different learning styles, and lessons will be far more engaging and thus breaking the monotony or boredom of class lectures. Teachers will find it easier to arrange guest speakers and experts for their lessons. It is far easier and economical to set up a 30-minute Zoom call with an out of state historian or a medical expert. That is to invite them than it is to invite them for a physical classroom. If I want the best teacher to tell them about appendicitis, I'm teaching in biology, I'm just giving an example. Or if I want them to know about any building through an historian, so through the horse's mouth they can hear it. And at a very, there's no money involved in calling them and putting them in a hotel and you're looking for them. All that, that's not required. All that, the infrastructure that we have to go through, all the logistics that we have to go through in bringing people from abroad or anywhere, you can connect them from anywhere. So children get the best of education through online modes, and which is not possible through physical classroom. With e-learning, quality education can reach a far greater audience. If we can bring a world's expert to our students, we can take quality education to every student with an internet connection, no matter which city, state, or even country she lives in. Imagine a day, maybe not in distant future, when all our children in the board exams in all schools have 80% or even higher in the each subject, I mean each exam. That is not far, and that is because of the power of e-learning. Because they get the best, they become interesting, the lessons become interesting, they become more engaging, and they are more interactive, and therefore the result is good. So that is what all I have to say about the pros of online teaching. I mean, how it has proved beneficial in this, time which was so unprecedented, and we didn't know what is going to happen to our students' teaching learning process. But yes, online teaching came as a, as such a boon for all of us, that we were able to continue education and give them the best. And during that process, we learned how it has been proved beneficial for them to make teaching learning a better experience for our students. That is all I need to say about the pros. And then
That's
I have and then I have a few challenges. Yes, I agree. There were many cons, and I will not call them as such as cons. They could be challenges, and this we can, overcome with due course of time. We may be able to overcome. So I would say there's no medium of instruction or which can be perfect for always. So, like that, online teaching is also not perfect. After all, the perfected art of Guru Shishya relationship of centuries ago, or even the world renowned Nalanda, will have its limitations in today's world. And with technology developing at such a rapid pace, today's cons may simply be a challenge to be overcome tomorrow. And who knows? Perhaps in a few years, these challenges may be a non issue because new ways of providing holistic education along with social and emotional growth of students may develop. But to discuss our cons or challenges of today, a few of the biggest ones that I can think of are those which involve physical interaction on school premises. In today's world, the interaction between students and teachers, students and non teaching staff, and among students of different age groups is critical for each child's emotional development. It is the place where students learn social skills. They learn interpersonal skills such as sharing, caring, empathy, compassion. Today, I feel that all of these skills and behaviors are difficult, if not impossible, to replicate in their entirety in an online class. Health issues, screen time, which has been the biggest challenge for parents and for teachers and for school. They're affecting the eyes. Mental health, due to the above lack of social and emotional development, there are many issues of loneliness, depression, anxiety. The school premises is a place where all students are equal, regardless of the socioeconomic status in society outside the school premises. All wear same uniform, they are one. No discrimination on caste, color, creed. That oneness is created when they come to school in one uniform. There are students who need and flourish under the kind, supportive eye of a confidant. Maybe they lack a nurturing environment at home. How do we as educators and as role models, bring that to the child in an online environment? And thinking about generations of Martinians, because I myself a Martinian, who were in the boarding. How do we offer a home to our students who need it the most due to whichever circumstance in their personal lives?
That's a good thought, ma'am.
How
That's
do
a
we replace? How do we replace a sense of pride, that big beaming smile on a child's face as she walks back to her desk after receiving a gold star in front of the whole class? Additionally, the involvement of the parent or guardian at home is key for online teaching because how do we as educators instill a sense of individual responsibility and integrity in every student so they are physically and mentally present at every e learning session? Isn't it interesting that it's always the same student who says, "Ma'am, technical glitch"? What do we do about that? How do we ensure that projects or needlework or art assignments are 100% the work of the student and not outsourced just so they can get a good grade? When they're coming to school, we are, monitoring them. We make them do a little bit and then we lock up in the cupboard so that it is just the, students' work. But how would you monitor that in an online class? That is just the students' work. And then there are few subjects like teaching PT, dance, music, singing and elocution, etc., which can be rather challenging to conduct entirely online. I have shared few, pros and cons. I am not saying this is the end of all. There may be others who will have some more to it, but this is my set of experience. What I have, summed them up from what I have faced during these 2 years, almost 2 years, and I think, and I like to think that today we are at the cusp, paving a new way to provide complete education for the overall development of a child. It's not about either, or it's about a combination of the two. And as technology develops and society changes, we may have different types of educational institutions providing different learnings and different skills. Maybe every school doesn't need to provide all subjects. Maybe a pool of schools come together to provide the complete education of the student. And maybe today we are simply moving towards that. So we are just learning and growing, we are evolving, and I think that is how we are moving forward with online teaching learning because of the pandemic. And as we said, Geti said that under disruptive education, how we have faced, and this is what online teaching has provided us. And this, there are some cons that I shared with you, which are not exactly cons; they are challenges. And I'm sure, with as we grow and as we evolve, we will be able to overcome them in due course of time. And I would like to, at this juncture, thank GETI Global Education and Training Institute for giving me this opportunity to present my views on the topic pros and cons of online teaching. Thank you, Neha.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that very exhaustive and informative description about the pros and cons, or as you say, challenges of online teaching. I think you mentioned a lot from your own experience and from the
Yeah.
experience from teachers around you and around us, in India and around the world. Before we conclude, and also thank you for giving us a very warm, gratitude, full of gratitude, message of gratitude. But before we conclude, since you mentioned the challenges of online teaching, what would be your take on those challenges, and how should we pave a way forward for online teaching? And should online teaching continue to be, a part of the education system, considering that it has somehow created some sort of inequalities in education? It has kind of step us back, put us, a step back in education, learning losses, and I think you know that better than me. But considering those challenges, what is the future of education, and should online teaching continue to be a future of education, considering that it also offers so many advantages as well?
Yeah, as you said, as I have mentioned in my presentation, and I just told you that we cannot say totally this either or that. Okay,
Yep.
what my take is, we do not know. The world is very unpredictable. There can be another wave, there can be another virus. What's the way forward, as you said? So I would say it could be a combination of both. Since we are trained now, we have something, and we can get the best of both the things and try to move forward. And as I said, there could be schools who will be doing only particular things. There could be special schools who will doing a particular thing, not teaching all the subjects. So that way we can meet the challenges and move forward to keeping both, as the world moves forward and as we grow forward. And as I said, technology is growing, and we are, each year, we try to overcome whatever the whatever we fail, face any problem with them. When we began with pandemic, there were so many platforms when there were no security, and then we faced that, oh, they are saying this, and then the e-platform, they modified the various security options and gave us more control over our classes. So I am looking forward to that. And as I said, there are many pros to online, and there are some cons, and we can take the best of both and move forward, because teaching has to go on. There shouldn't be any gap, and that is the main thing. You cannot stop, you cannot have a 0 year. You just cannot
Yep.
say no learning. So at least that connect is there, and therefore this is a way looking forward. Online teaching is good that way.
That's a very hopeful and optimistic conclusion to a very dense topic, a very heavy topic of discussion, that is online teaching. Everyone has their own opinion and views, but that's a very optimistic conclusion. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us this evening and
Welcome.
blessing us with your views and thoughts condensed from your own experience. Thank you so much for joining us, and hope to see you around again.
Thank you so much, Neha. Thank you, Geti, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.